Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's your reluctant gringo back again from south of the border. We got some political news and we've got some sad pop culture news. But again, once again, joined here by my partner in crime, my son. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's all bad news here.
It's all
really
you
bad
had a
news.
rough day.
I had a rough day.
Rough day.
I had a really bad day.
Yep.
It was actually starting out. It was doing well, and
then you dropped your computer.
I didn't drop it actually. I tripped, and on that the power extender, what we call extension cord there. And
this is an elaborate way to say the computer was a victim of gravity.
It's a victim of gravity. What's funny is
top case, go bye-bye.
It hit the floor flat. It didn't the screen didn't hit it. So you would imagine it'd be fine, but
it's okay. Any excuse for me to go computer shopping is a good excuse.
So well, the retina is broken.
Yeah.
So now I get to use the TV.
Yeah. Well,
because everything else works. It's just the middle screen, not even the outer screen.
I don't know what to tell you. Hey, no, it is what it is. It is what it is. It'll be all right.
I'm just looking at it as off in the distance, and I'm thinking,
good. So we got two main topics today. The first is a little bit of a flop. I know there's some stuff we can really glean from it, but a little bit of a flop, which is we're going to talk about the release of the Epstein files, which is majorly hyped as of last night.
Or would we describe it? Everyone's favorite island.
Everybody's favorite island to talk about. Not Gilligan's, that's for sure. Not fantasy.
Wait, maybe Gilligan visited.
Gilligan did not visit. Don't you
imagine?
Keep Bob Denver's name out of your mouth.
Imagine on that list of clients, it's like, oh, Bob Denver, of course. He came here every Saturday.
Bob
he brought
Denver, Tina Louise.
He brought the margaritas.
Shut up. All right, so I guess let's start with Epstein. I guess let's
start with Epstein. I mean,
that's the best place to start, really. So
he is the man of the hour, despite having passed many hours ago. And by hours, I mean at this point, what, years? A couple years
now. Years. All right. So this is the actual Department of Justice website, Office of Public Affairs, as you can see, and it was about 7:00, 6:00. I get the notification that the records had been released. Now, these aren't all the records, of course, and there's not a lot new in here. But if you scroll down, if you really want to look at it, and we're going to get into the whole controversy here in a second.
If you really want to lose faith in humanity.
Yeah, here are the links to the released documents, okay? You got an evidence list, which I'm not going to pull up. We're going to talk about it, but there's some words in it that might, get flagged just for being on. And we got to be real careful how we talk about this because we don't want to be.
Listen. We mentioned Epstein and Island already. I think it's over.
There's all the flight logs from U.S. versus Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was, of course, his girlfriend and the person who was doing all the procurement for him.
Partner in crime.
Yeah. So Maxwell, then part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6. We can open up a couple of those. The contact book, which has been redacted, and we'll talk about that in a second. And the masseuse list, which is heavily redacted. Actually, it's just completely
redacted.
Completely redacted. It's just all blacked out.
You just get a number.
So
that's it.
There's really not a lot of surprises within this. I think when we thought, hey, the Epstein files have been released, what people want, let's talk about what people want. People want the client list. People want to know who were his clients, who paid the money to go and do the things that they should be in jail for, that committed crimes. And we haven't gotten that yet. We've gotten a lot of information that was, to be honest with you, a lot of this was already public out there in the public. You could see it on the internet.
Some or even very heavily speculated and rumored by
and a lot of
sources.
Listen, a lot of the names, especially there's a lot of celebrity names that were thrown out. And we won't mention them here because they weren't. We read through all of the flight logs and deciphered as much as we could, and you'll see how just difficult that is.
But did not have good handwriting.
Did not have good handwriting.
Could use.
But there were no real huge surprises. Nothing. I mean, it looked like it's a list of people that you wouldn't know unless you were an expert or a journalist on Googling them in business and innovation, science, things like that. And a couple of writers here and there, a couple of names keep popping up. But again, the flight log, we're going to talk about this, the flight log doesn't necessarily mean there was a crime committed. And we'll talk about, because we'll right off the bat, yes, Donald Trump's name appears in the flight log. I found it once.
Technically twice. The flight from and then back.
I only found a flight to New Jersey.
No, I think it was to New Jersey. But wasn't there another after?
Nope. His name was not listed on it. It was listed once. We'll talk about that. President Bill Clinton. It's actually written in there.
Yeah.
President Clinton.
Yeah, that
and like
one's
a couple
very-
of them are like President Clinton and 4 Secret Service agents and blah, blah, blah. And there's some other things in the flight log, which we'll talk about, which kind of make me go, oh, okay, that needs some explanation there.
Listen, I'll just say this. Clinton went there one too many times. In my opinion.
His name was in it a lot. But again, it doesn't mean he committed a crime.
Okay, yeah, but if you're going that often, you're going to see
But did he go to the island? And that's what we're going to talk about here in a second. And pardon me, I've done a lot of voiceover work today, so it's been my throat is really all over the place. The contact book, which is basically, so you know what? Let's get into. I think it was page 28 that we saw Donald Trump's name.
Page 18.
Page 18.
Okay,
so this is part of the flight logs. Now look,
but they're different of like years of them.
Different years. Right? So this is like 92. You can see Jeffrey, Christina.
Yeah, here. Yeah, two times.
Donald did he do it? Okay. What number are you on?
Page 18.
Of the first one?
Of the first part 1.
Okay. So, and here's how I look at this. And it's not to defend Donald Trump. It's just an example. I'm on. You on part 1 of the very? There he is, Donald.
Yeah. If you go to if you choose, there's two different kind of ones. You could choose B flight log, or you can choose part 1.
Yeah.
This one's a little easier to read.
I'm on B flight log. It'll do for right now. Okay. So the flight log, it's basically the date, all that stuff.
The passengers,
they sign in, right? So you can see Donald Trump. Fair enough. 1992. PBI. That's the Palm Beach Airport. Okay, that makes sense. He would take off from Palm Beach. He spends a lot of time there.
This is New Jersey to Palm Beach, and then Palm Beach back to New Jersey.
Yeah, so he went to New Jersey.
No, he came from New Jersey.
Went to Palm Beach, then went from Palm Beach and back to New Jersey.
And he
never made it to an island. So this isn't like, oh, you're on the flight log, so you must have done something bad. You can't really take. I mean, that's not evidence. I mean. The same thing with some of the Clinton things is did they go to the island? You know.
Well, the only thing you can gather is this: in between the flights are 3 days. The 23rd, he left on the 23rd of March. If you look on the far left, on that aisle,
yeah.
And then he left. Okay, so he left New Jersey to Palm Beach on the 23rd, and then went back to New Jersey, which I'm assuming he's going back to New York, just across.
Well, he has property in New Jersey. He's got a golf course and everything. In
True, but I imagine he's going to New York mostly.
Yeah, probably New York. Yeah, so 26.
So it's only 3 days. Palm Beach, you'd have to take a boat, and that's like a day trip on the boat.
Yeah, that's
unless you're like really
you're really stretching. I mean,
yeah,
again, there's Donald Trump supporters and there's Donald Trump detractors that would love to get everything in the world on him, but. It's just the same thing with Bill Clinton. It's just there's not enough.
This doesn't tell you anything. I will tell you Eva Anderson.
It just tells you who's on the plane. Now, there's some weird stuff.
There's some weird names.
And I'll get to that, but go ahead.
Right. Eva Anderson, I don't know who she is exactly. Well, actually, I think we did figure it out.
She's a model, actress, something like
that. Former model. And I saw that name pop up a few times. And even looking up, you couldn't really find much until you got more context towards the end of what is I believe the contact list. Mm-hmm. There's a little note in the handwritten section on the last page where she's written down, and there's a little kind of sub note, essentially, kind of giving reference. Again, there's not too much to go off of.
Yeah, there's not much there. Here's Prince Andrew, right? Here he is, right there, Prince Andrew. And he appears a few times in this log, and of course, we all know about Prince Andrew that. Yeah, he probably did what we all think he did, but again, allegedly, he's never been convicted. There's Prince Andrew again.
Well, what's surprising is his, I think at the time, wife. I don't know if she's still his wife, Sarah.
Sarah Ferguson is
the Duchess of York.
Yeah,
so Duke of York, Duchess of York, both at the island.
Well, here's what I want you to look up. Look up in Safari. Type in airport code TIST. And we'll see what comes up because
okay, that is not.
So where is that?
United States Virgin Islands.
Okay, that means you went to the island.
Yeah, that is really pretty not good for you.
So here's Prince Andrew going from Jersey to the island and from the island to Jersey. TIST. That is you're in the Caribbean. Okay. And that I can say, I think you can juxtapose. Yeah, maybe he went to the island, but all these other ones, you're like, okay, where'd they go? And of course, Epstein had properties in New York. He had properties in Mexico. I've been, of course,
yes, and
Florida.
Because the U.S. Virgin Islands is literally just south of the Epstein Island.
Yeah,
and also, I'm looking at the maps because I couldn't remember where it is. Palm Beach, PBI. What city is that? Palm Beach.
Palm Beach, Florida.
West Palm Beach.
Yeah, probably West Palm Beach.
So pretty much just Miami. Yeah. From there,
that's a hell of a boat
that
ride.
I was like, that is at least a day.
Yeah, that's
So listen, Trump. I really find it hard just based on that one entry to be able to say Trump got to the island, because I mean in 2 days you already have to head back. You don't even make it to the island.
That's weird. This one's upside down. Why is that one upside down? It's the first one I've seen in the flight logs that was upside down. I thought we went through all of them, but again, you could decipher. You see JE, initials JE. You know that's Jeffrey Epstein. You see GM in it. You know that's Ghislaine Maxwell. Or you just see him write out Jeffrey, Tiffany. You just all these people you don't know down with last names there.
The only thing you could do to kind of really speculate or narrow down this list is look at the airport codes near the island. Because his island was, I just looked this up, it was called Little James. Little James Island. It's a tiny place east. It's part of the British Virgin Islands, actually, or part of Puerto Rico. It's hard to tell because there's like a little borderline drawn here. I think it's technically part of Puerto Rico. Technically.
Yeah. I
mean,
that could be,
if you see anywhere in that area, U.S. Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands.
But here you go. Jersey to the Caribbean. Ghislaine Maxwell, Alberto and Linda Pinto, whoever that is.
Yeah.
Philippe Mugno Francis for Virginia.
Alberto Pinto is he was at the time, this is like in the 90s. Interior designer.
Well, we don't know if that's who that name. You can Google that name.
Right. Well, the thing is, you can imagine that these are going to be the higher class people. So I'm not saying it's the first person you Google is going to be the person, but if the timeline matches up with how long they lived,
no, I wouldn't. You can't even speculate that. All you have is a name. You could have a name there, and it could be 1 million people in the world. You can Google it all you want, but these flight logs. I think they give you, unless you know, like, okay, it says President Clinton or something like that. They give you an idea. I would be very careful to say this person did that. Because then you're liable for slander.
Right. We're not making. I want to make it very clear.
No accusations.
We are not making any accusations. It's complete speculation.
Yeah.
We're not investigators. Yeah. We are just speculating based on the information that we have available, which is the flight log.
We're just reading this stuff out. We're just kind of reacting. Okay. Here's Alan Dershowitz, which we don't know that's the Alan Dershowitz, the lawyer. But here's where it gets weird. One male. Here's Jeffrey Epstein, somebody's initials.
E.T. go home.
Yeah, one male. It's like, okay, what is that? And then there's one female.
There was one that said 2 kids.
Yeah, there's one that said 2 kids. Again,
who knows?
Who these people are.
Some names on the logs are redacted. I think those are victims.
Those are victims. Those are identifiable victims. So
it doesn't, obviously that as a fact being on the flight logs doesn't help anybody on the logs.
Yeah. It doesn't help anybody, but then again, it doesn't, I don't see, it's not damning to me. It's not like, okay, whatever, right?
I'm not saying it's damning for me, but it does make me start to question people on the list. Like, okay, maybe you were on a flight with them a couple times because you either knew them and maybe you didn't know, you're ignorant of what was going on. That's very plausible. Very plausible.
The rumor is, or the most consistent rumor is with this guy is that he was an intelligence operative and he was trying to get blackmail over people. Again, he started out as a simple math teacher and then turned himself into a financial wizard that was worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And all of a sudden he's a billionaire and he's got all this going on. Again, that's a rumor. It's never been proven. But that's what a lot of people in the news really, in the mainstream media think. Again, you don't get any of that, like who he was, why he did it. This woman's name, I don't know, Sophie Biddle is in there a bunch of times. She could be his maid.
No, she's just. Well, if you look her up, you
you and I offline can look people up, but online on YouTube Live, I am not going to speculate on anybody's name, who anybody is. Just saying they appear in the manifest, and that's it.
And who they are specifically.
Yeah.
I don't think it hurts to speculate.
No, it hurts to speculate because we don't have the right to speculate. No, because then you put something out there. It's not true. It's not fair to that person. I mean, if my name was on this thing and I didn't know what the hell was going on, right?
Fair.
You know, so.
But your name does, as a fact, show up whether that's whether that person is you or not.
Sure, but again, there's other people with my name in New England. Well, my exact name.
Well, not your last name.
No, my first, middle, and last name. They have my exact because
in our family.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you look up my name, if you Google me, you get a bunch of lawyers.
Oh yeah.
So it's just you don't get me. I don't really, my name doesn't really pop up much for anything. Not that I'm going to tell you my name, but anyways.
Look him up, Gringo.
So I just would be very careful with saying, oh, this person here. But there's no like huge celebrity on this list.
There's some interesting people on the list.
There's some interesting people.
Like there's one that's like Senator
George Mitchell is on the list.
Yeah,
Senator George Mitchell is on the list. He actually lists his title, Senator George Mitchell.
It does not. Yeah, it doesn't do great things for you.
Yeah. Clinton actually just says President Bill Clinton. President Bill Clinton. It just. I'm trying to find. I think it was log number 4 that they were in.
Yeah,
but again,
it was the last log. I think
you look at where they were. You look at how they were.
The days between the time, you can speculate all you want, but again, all you have available is the airport codes.
Yeah.
The names of people who are on the flight, whether they're the people we think they are or they're not. I lean towards one side, you lean towards another.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the amount of days in between.
Yeah, I still believe in innocent before.
No, guilty. I believe innocent until proven guilty. But if if it looks damning, it looks damning.
Yeah, well. Like there was a name on here, Larry Summers, which we all know Larry Summers was at one point. If you look up a Larry Summers, he's involved in the first Trump administration as some sort of economic advice. Is that the same Larry Summers? I don't know. You can't really say that.
You can't really say that. But again, like I said, I lean towards. I don't think these are just random people
This person, Christy Rogers, is on it a bunch of times. Every time I flip the page, Christy Rogers.
Right.
Virginia Roberts, which I think if type in Virginia Roberts, I think you're gonna get the person I think it is. And, I believe is a victim. Yep, that's a victim. Virginia Guffey. She changed her name, got married, but yeah, she's one of the first victims to come out and actually blow this thing open. And
look, there's a picture here. That's not exactly very.
Yeah, she was the one with Prince Andrew
and then Maxwell.
Yeah, she's the one in the infamous picture with Prince Andrew.
But you see, that's my point. Is like you look up these people, and it's. I'm not saying it's going to be who you think it if you look them up.
Like I said, we can do it in private. I think online, in a public setting, I think it's a little bit more of a.
No, I know, but that's why
it's a higher standard.
You put out a disclaimer and you say, "Listen, we're speculating. We don't know if it's these people."
Yeah,
but this is my opinion. My opinion could be very wrong.
I speculate over stocks. I don't want to speculate over these guys currently.
No, I don't really want
to.
Like
you got like the female. Here's
one female.
Here's Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and one female. Well, what do you mean? Why? Where's her name?
Yeah,
like who is this person? Right.
Also, how do you get away with just writing down one female?
Yeah, exactly. Like
who did you pay to say that's a good log to me?
And
2 females on that one,
or 2 females. Yeah, 2 females. But yeah, I mean, none of this is like
super damning,
and none of it's a huge surprise. It's actually more of a letdown that you don't get the client list. The flight logs are whatever. The flight logs are the flight logs.
Don't they have the? These are the flight logs, but don't they have the boat list?
There's a boat list and evidence. We're going to talk about
manifest.
There's a boat manifest. We'll talk about that in a second. We're going to talk about the evidence list in a second.
Ship manifest.
Here we go.
Ship manifest. I love anything nautical. I'm sorry for getting that wrong. Ship manifest.
Yeah. So you got Bill Clinton, 4 Secret Service, 2 males, 1 female, and then something TEGMS AP. So you got Bill
Maxwell,
Clinton,
maybe.
That's Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah, that's definitely Ghislaine Maxwell.
And that's just probably.
Oh no, that's a J. That's a JE. That's Jeffrey Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell. So Bill Clinton, 4 Secret Service agents, and then 2 unknown males, 1 unknown female. JEGMS AP. I'm not sure who AP is.
Right.
So
you also notice if you go through.
So let's go. Type in the airport code HPN. Let's see where that one went. So that went from Miami to HPN.
N or M?
N, as in Nancy.
Westchester County, New York.
So he went from Miami to basically where Bill Clinton lives right now.
Not great.
Not
You go into your personal home with the guy who's got now that reputation.
But there's no return flight. Like, there's just one flight. There's no.
Well, remember, he lived in New York, so he could probably just take it.
But Miami. So, again, it's all speculative.
Right.
It's all speculative.
Everything's speculative. I will say what's weird is sometimes you'll notice some names get turned into like either initials or just first name basis.
Yeah. And
that does throw you off as you read it. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Random.
But there you go. Bill Clinton, three Secret Service, Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, someone SK, Doug Bands. I don't know. Doug Bands? Yeah, I don't know.
You want me to look it up?
There we go. Bill Clinton, Doug Bands, 10 Secret Service, Naomi Campbell,
Doug Band, American businessman and lawyer is the one you get up. And look, he is associated.
Yeah.
Longtime advisor.
He's one of Bill Clinton's advisors. Then you get Naomi Campbell, which if it's the Naomi Campbell we all think of, it's the supermodel Naomi Campbell. And then an unknown male.
English model, this one?
Yeah, that's her.
Yep. Yeah, that's...
and these flights went from... JFK to airport code EGGW. That's a 4-letter one. That's going to be an interesting one.
London. It used to be. I guess they have an old one. It's Luton Airport in London.
Okay, they went to London. Why they went to London? Who knows?
Didn't he had properties all over the place.
Yeah, he probably was billionaire properties everywhere.
Yeah,
so.
London, New York, we know of, and then we know of. But he did have one in London. I'm not.
Dude, he flew a lot. Jesus.
Yeah, he flew a lot, but he did have one in London, right?
I believe so.
He had one in London, and obviously Dion. Those are the
or
three
she did, or Ghislaine did. She was international.
But that doesn't really make it much better now, because then why are you going to her house?
Here we go. Again, Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, SK, which I haven't figured out who that is. President.
SK's on all of them. Look at these. Look at this list over here.
Yeah. President
SK.
President Bill Clinton, Doug Bands, Janice, Jessella, whatever, right?
Maybe you could figure out who SK is.
Okay.
So if you go further up.
All right. Type in these airport codes. RJTA. The Naval Air Facility
in Kanagawa, Japan.
In Japan.
That's what you get when you look up RJTA.
Okay, give me VHHH.
Hong Kong. This is just not looking.
All right, so we're going to Japan to Hong Kong, Hong Kong to Japan, and then you got same as look. Same as above. So wait, we went from so they went from Hong Kong to Japan.
Hong Kong,
Japan, or Hong, whatever. What's ZGSZ? Look at all the same as above, same as above, same as above, same as above.
That screams Switzerland for me. I don't know why.
ZGSZ.
I could be wrong. No.
Shenzhen.
Shenzhen.
That's one of the central China. So doing a lot of work in China.
Oh, maybe because they had to stop there because fuel.
WSS. We'll do a couple more of these. Let's see where they all went. Singapore.
That's pretty random. That's not where I thought that was moving towards.
VTBD.
Don Muang. This has got to be in.
So they're all over China and Asia.
Bangkok.
Thailand.
That's kind of damning.
All right, last one we'll do for this. The last one we'll do for this is WBSB.
If it's somewhere else just as bad. Brunei.
What are they doing in Brunei? That's Africa.
No.
Oh, Brunei.
Asia.
Sorry.
Asia.
I don't know why I was thinking.
I was like, anyways, Africa.
Sorry. It's too late.
Well, Brunei's oil rich. It's very, very wealthy. It's a tiny,
obviously
state.
They're going over everywhere.
But where did they go after?
They
split up.
They split up there.
Dude, what did Clinton stay there for? And then
then these guys, JE, GM, and SK.
Is SK written down up here?
Yeah, right there.
No, I mean like up on the where the same was above.
Yeah, same as above.
Yeah, SK has because the thing is you can only write initials on those logs once when you've already established them as like a frequent kind of person, so you can just kind of obviously refer. Oh, SK, it's clearly the frequent guy. So I'm sure if you go back and look in the logs for somebody who's got a name that starts with S, As the K, I mean, what year is this?
We're talking 2002. I'm talking 2002. But these are the flight logs. These are what they are. There's no like listing where you're going to get like, oh my God, I can't believe he's on the flight log. No, he's on.
I would tell you, some of these logs are weird.
They are weird.
I mean, what is Clinton doing in like China, Bangkok, Brunei?
Clinton Foundation, I guess? Who knows? I don't know. But here you go.
Fair.
Jeffrey Epstein, 1 female. Jeffrey Epstein, 1 female. Jeffrey Epstein, 1 female. Jeffrey Epstein, SK, 2
well, now
females.
bed is ironic as a code.
Yeah, well. So is this evidence? Is this a smoking gun? No, it's
I'm
not.
sure if they want to launch charges, they will use this as evidence.
So then we get to the masseuse list, right? And we'll just do this one real quick. Redacted to protect potential victim information. So this is the masseuse list.
That many names. What, 254?
Yeah.
I'm on another document. This is the...
Oh, screenshot?
No, this is the contact list.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to get to the contact list.
I just want to have it open so I can see it well here.
Yeah. So there's no information to glean here, and that's okay. We want to protect the victims. Like, that's a good thing.
Well, masseuses are like... My question is, what do you mean by masseuses?
Well,
like the people who did the massages, or like people who were massaged?
I think it's a very interesting euphemism, and we'll keep it at that.
Mm-hmm. That's rough.
I think this is basically the list of victims.
Yeah,
is what you're looking at.
Which is, I mean, confirmed 254 at this point.
254 victims.
That's a lot of people. Because then who knows whether they were stuck there for who knows how long.
Or whatnot. Now, all right, I'm not going to hit that evidence list yet. All right, let's go to the contact book. Again, like the flight log, this contact book has a lot of redaction because it doesn't give out phone numbers or personal addresses. It just gives out names. But again, it's just a contact book. It's not like... that's all it is. Like, all right, he knew this person. He had this person's number in the book or their address, right?
Right.
And this is what it is. It's just a bunch of names. Most of them mean nothing unless you're from that country where you recognize this person's name. It's very international. You've got Arab, you've got European, you've got Asian, you've got American or seemingly Western U.S., Canadian, all that. So names throughout here. It's again, Alec Baldwin. Okay, Alec Baldwin. He had Alec Baldwin's phone number.
Doesn't really mean anything.
Means nothing. So again, that's why we said it's a flop because we didn't get the information we really wanted, which is the client list. This is not a client list. This is a contact list. It's like if you scroll through my contact list, you're going to see names and like, oh, who are these people? There's people's numbers I have.
It's not damning at all. Yeah. This is
Tony Blair.
In my opinion,
obviously he had the ear of Tony Blair. Obviously he had the ear of Mike Bloomberg, former mayor of New York City and former presidential candidate.
Right.
Tony Blair, of course, former UK Prime Minister.
My opinion is this: this is less damning than the flight logs.
Yeah,
because the flight logs at least show you were like
Richard Branson
traveling. You were comfortable enough to travel with this person, which either meant you were closer to an extent.
Yeah.
So this could mean this is just like a celebrity knows another celebrity.
Yeah. Richard Branson, another millionaire, billionaire. Of course, billionaires know each other. Okay, so
this is like acting as surprised that like Snoop Dogg knows Dre.
Jimmy Buffett.
It's like
Jimmy Buffett. If that's the Jimmy Buffett we all think, wasting away again in Margaritaville. Maybe he played a concert for the guy. Who knows? I don't know what the relationship was there. That doesn't really give you any information. It's just a contact list. It's a lot of smoke, a little bit of fire, but all it does is really fan the flames of, we said we were going to get the files. We want all the files. Now we didn't get all the files. We're going to talk about that in a minute. We are going to hit the evidence list first. I'm going to be real careful about how I hit that evidence list.
Oh yeah.
Someone named Caprice. I don't know. Caprice, whatever. Carmine.
Is it an island maybe? Or is it just named?
It's a name. It's a first name.
Think of
Fabrizio Sarina. I don't know. Who the hell is that person? Who cares, right?
Right.
But there's a couple of Dustin Hoffman. He's got Dustin Hoffman in there. Is that Rain Man? I don't know. Could be a different Dustin Hoffman. We don't have that information. There's no corroborating or correlating information.
Obviously, the other thing is this. If you're on the contact list, it's not great because it's not. It means you were comfortable enough to give them your number.
It means you met at a function, you met at a party, you met at a fundraiser, and you might have
still doesn't make you feel great when you're like,
no, it doesn't make you feel good. I mean,
at all. So again, it's not damning at all by any means, but it's interesting.
Janice Dickinson, she's
this is
reality star.
It is an interesting thing to look at because you could probably imagine that some of these names.
Dory, you got Dory. Dory from Finding Nemo. No,
you can maybe imagine that some of these names are potential suspects.
Minnie Driver.
No, would you imagine that? Would it be fair to say that possible? I mean,
there's a possibility that there is some people on these contact lists that maybe they're involved further, maybe they're not. But again, there's no
damning evidence. It just kind of gives you it's like
do I think Minnie Driver was hanging and banging on Epstein Island? No, I don't. Minnie Driver is she's Goodwill Hunting. She's don't do that.
Don't do that.
Duchess of York, Duke of York. Of course.
No, those two.
Prince Andrew is already really kind of deep in the mud right now. Yeah.
The logs don't really help him. I mean, so the U.S. Virgin Islands, that doesn't.
Yeah, I think his goose was cooked. Like he's one I'm okay saying. You know what, buddy? You got a lot to
talk about.
You got a lot to. Should start maybe making a deal if this stuff starts really flying out. Steve Forbes. Do I think Steve Forbes is someone who went to the island and went nuts? No, I don't.
I feel bad for this person named Robin. It's just randomly just thrown in there.
Robin.
Hey, Robin. Where's Batman?
But if you want to look at the contact list of all the phone numbers that this guy had, there it is, and it goes on, and there's nothing. Really goes on and on. Nothing in here hit me like, oh damn.
I will tell you is the last page is interesting. Or as you go down towards some of the last pages, you do see writing on it.
Yeah, you do. You do see
one says like witness. I remember seeing, right? You got in the hotels and islands and places.
Oh, they know where every hotel is and place to stay. And
I don't know who wrote this though.
Habsburg. Yeah.
But no.
This is got to be Ghislaine's. This is from Ghislaine.
Like the handwriting.
That's got to be Ghislaine. Probably. I think that's all.
Fire Soti,
Sadie, whatever. Dustin is Dustin Hoffman. Again, if that's Rain Man, it's Rain Man. If it's not, hey, sorry, Dustin. Go in peace.
Like
Liz Hurley. Do I think Elizabeth Hurley? I mean, let's just
right.
No. Again, this is all conspiracy fodder at this point. So
let's go down to like page 84, 85, right?
84, 85. Okay.
Towards the very end, right? Because they start writing stuff on the. What does that say?
Cisks?
CITHX?
CITNX? CITHX?
That looks like an I.
Citrix?
Citrix?
Whatever.
Whatever that means.
It don't mean...
But it go like, well, what are you on? What page are you on?
Citrix.
Why is your all out of whack?
Probably because I just frigged with it. All right. Now I'm on page 88. What page are you on? 90?
90. It's 85 of the file, technically. But like you go to 85, you see like...
Witness,
cleaners,
the witness. Yeah. Like, great. He has the number to Prudential. So do many people. He's got the number to doctors, chiropractors.
No.
Look, Jeffrey Epstein. There he is.
No, it is interesting that the circling by Giselle, because we can assume this is her handwriting.
I don't think this is her handwriting. Why would she write witness?
Maybe because
this is not her handwriting. This is an investigator's handwriting.
Perhaps
that's just scribbling.
But when you go all the way down here,
but there's all these arrows pointing. Florida massage, and that is highly redacted because again, you don't know what that information is. It could have names of
probably personal names. Yeah,
rugs.
The last page is really interesting because I don't know if it's an investigator's or if it's
visitors massage.
There you go.
Yeah, those are victims.
No, that is bad. But it's the page after that.
Holy Jesus.
It's the page after that, which is why I don't know if that's written by an investigator or if not Giselle, because I have a feeling they gave it to Giselle and said, write what you know and write.
This is Giselle.
This is Giselle. This is what I'm saying. This is her
Ghislaine, not Giselle.
Giselle. Sorry, Ghislaine. We've been mispronouncing her name, haven't we? Yeah. Horribly. But it's this page which is interesting and almost kind of damning to an extent.
Citrix Systems Programmer. So Citrix is some sort of tech company. That's when we saw that word up there. We were like, what does that mean?
Right.
Okay.
You have Secret Service personnel escorting all these people, former PM of Israel.
Oh, wait, look at this.
Yep.
What is that? Scout for young females.
Yep. Jean-Luc Brunel. But the worst part is down here is like
David Copperfield, magician.
And it's redacted.
Eva Anderson,
that's
former model and mother of Naked Pick.
That's what I was talking about. Remember I was talking about
Remember
I was telling you earlier when I was looking at it, I keep seeing this
name.
Bring
her up. Let's see.
I keep seeing this name.
What does
Eva?
mother of Naked Pick mean? Is that really
No. That's just the kind of, how do I say, an identifier kind of thing. Essentially of like, oh, this is who she is.
There's a victim. That's why that's ridiculous.
There's a victim. Is it her? What do you mean mother of Naked Pick? Is she the mother of somebody? But she went to the island.
Oh no.
She went to the island. Oh no, maybe she didn't go to the island. Actually, I lied. I'm saying I'm jumping out.
No, this is, you know what?
What?
This isn't Ghislaine's handwriting because there wouldn't be this type of writing here. There wouldn't be these type of. So this is not Ghislaine. You were right. This is
investigator.
Mr. Barak Ehud, former Prime Minister of Israel, on Jeffrey Epstein. This is investigators.
This is investigators. So we're not going to claim who's went to the island or not.
Yeah.
We do see Eva Anderson's name pop up a lot on those 5
David
months.
Cook, Palm Beach, 2004-2005. Witness, interacted and chat daily with underage girls.
Not great. But here's how I figured out who it was. Dubbin. If you looked at Eva Anderson Dubbin, you get who you need to kind of see. Swedish physician, former model, and beauty pageant title holder. She founded a few things. She helped found an institute, I think here in not here, but in New York City. Yeah, Sinai Hospital in New York City.
Mount Sinai, yeah.
Yeah, Mount Sinai. She is married to hedge fund billionaire Glenn Dubbin.
Yeah.
Right, but
I mean, I don't know what. I don't know how to.
Former model, mother of Naked Pick, and it's a name. Yeah. Do they have?
I think that's as far as I want to push that one. Important witnesses, French driver. Yeah, this is definitely. So, this is the contact list. Again, it's really a lot more questions than answers.
Oh. Speaking of 2019.
Yeah. All right. So, according to Business Insider, Jeffrey Epstein's relationship with the 24-year-old daughter of this woman we're talking about, they discussed marrying. So
of his ex-girlfriend Eva Anderson Dubbin and the hedge fund billionaire Glenn.
Ooh.
Which is then, you can imagine that's probably whose name is redacted.
Yeah. So.
Which means he's got pictures, which who knows then. That's a messy situation.
Yeah.
I want to move on to the evidence list because, again, speculating could get us in trouble.
Yeah.
And I think I don't want to show that last page because I think that last page is really damning. Because clearly in that contact list, things were pointed out to them and things were written down.
Yeah.
I think for us looking at the contact list, it's not damning. But for investigators who are familiar with the case, there are people of interest, we'll say that.
Yeah.
Very significant interest.
So it's page 3 that I need to be real careful about getting onto because page 3 of this evidence list lists some items of, well, I mean, if you're a consenting adult, have at it, man. You want things inserted places. If you're a consenting adult and you're over the age of 18,
you do what you want.
You do you, man. You go around once in this life.
I mean,
do you?
You would never find me.
Not my deal. not my thing. Okay, but I'm
out. I draw the line at several football fields earlier than that.
Not my thing. I'm not judging, and no one else should judge for your consenting adult. But what I see, okay, this is the evidence list that they have so far, right?
This is so far in my head.
What you see is all this. one cellophane containing DVD-R containing image log files.
I have a question, though.
Okay.
Before you continue.
Okay.
It says up here, 50D New York. Is this
from
in
his
the New York
apartment.
FBI office? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I want to figure out. Or if this was in D.C.
Yeah. This is from New York.
Okay. Sorry.
So all these pieces are when you get down to it, there is so much digital evidence. There are thousands. I'm not even joking. There are thousands of gigabytes. There could be thousands of terabytes
That's about to be
of digital information.
Good chunk.
On hard drives, on cell phones, on computers, on just all sorts of stuff. These are the tapes. They talk about where are the Epstein tapes. He videoed. It was everything. There were elaborate camera systems in all of his homes.
Which is what I imagine Citrix system was. If you're going to speculate.
Might have been for that. And this is if you can speculate he was doing it for blackmail purposes.
Then, damn, he had a system in place.
Okay, like here. Red rope containing 3 LTO 6-tape cartridges containing an ArcServe backup of all digital evidence from submission ID. So again, they have backups. CD labeled Girl Pics Nude Book 4. And that's just one.
That's just one.
Envelope containing 1 VHS tape, 2 cassette tapes, and 4 microcassette tapes. Not only
I don't want to imagine what's on those tapes.
Not only did he have video, but he has also digital voice recorders that were confiscated that are on these lists. Banker's box containing various Epstein-related case materials.
I do want to say, the fact that it's VHS tapes, cassette tapes, tells you how far back this goes.
Yeah, this went back far.
These out back far, 90s at least.
At least he liked to, change up the colors. He had a peach massage table, a green massage table, a beige massage table, a brown massage table. So,
he's got taste.
Yeah, one red rope containing highly confidential, responsive material to include nude, semi-nude images and videos from digital evidence items processed by CART. When we're talking highly confidential,
means must be very.
You might be talking about some people in the world that are,
don't want to be known.
Yeah. 10 yearbooks collected by FBI West Palm Beach resident agent.
1 pair of black woman's cowboy boots. Size 8. Hey, do those fit you?
Maybe they were the going. No, I'm a size 12. Sorry, buddy. But, I do like a good pair of cowboy boots. 1 flat box containing 1 large frame photo. Now, here's the thing. You get all these frame photos in this logbooks and things. Very famously, Epstein's mansion in New York had a picture of Bill Clinton. It was a painting, an oil painting of Bill Clinton, except for he was dressed in a blue dress, lying on a chair or a couch with his legs draped over and crossed and everything. And the blue dress, of course, it's a tongue-in-cheek joke at the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. But again, why would you want an oil painting on your main staircase or hallway of Bill Clinton in a dress?
It doesn't seem something sane.
To me, that's a message. To me, that's a message. That's just a reminder.
It's a message. It's also an ego thing. It's in his New York residence. Where does Clinton stay in case he does go visit? Which we know they went to New York together on that flight log.
Yeah, they did a lot of So they spent a lot of time together. Look at this HP service with 4 500-gigabyte drives.
That's ridiculous.
6 bay with 146 gigabyte drives.
Did you skip over the?
They have silver. I'm just going through
HP
Tower.
You skipped over
Lenovo Tower. He's got towers everywhere.
He's got towers. You skipped over something to me that's like the one of the. I'm not saying damning pieces of evidence, but absolutely interesting.
Are you on page 2 or 1?
This is the first page. 1 cellophane containing a boat trip log and employee lists.
Is that up towards the top? Or
that's so. Remember we saw the HP server with 4 and 500-gigabyte drives. 2 under that.
Oh, you're gonna make me remember that shit. Okay, here we go.
That boat trip log.
Boat trip log.
So getting on a boat is very different from a plane. Okay.
So we have flight logs. Where are the boat logs?
In New York. In New York, and I think they're hiding that more because that's more damning than a flight log. Because a flight log could be like, okay, you're flying to places. Boat, you don't travel on a boat unless it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
And usually it's for recreational.
True. One thing containing an Olympus digital voice recorder. So he's recording conversations.
Also, there's no landing strip on the island, right?
No.
You have to get there by boat.
You have to get there by
The
boat.
boat trip log is
that the boat trip
way
log?
more damning.
Island blueprints, island photos, and documents. I would love to see the blueprints, especially as a remodel, because there's a remodel blueprint. Document with names, employee contact list. Dude, he loves his Macs. He's got so many Mac desktops. All
Photo
over the place.
album of girl and Epstein. Is that just one girl album with him? Because it says girl, so that would imply it's the same girl.
Desktop labeled kitchen Mac. So he had a Mac just for his kitchen. I mean, Jesus.
Maybe for recipes.
4 binders with 68 discs inside.
Oh, that's I do not want to watch that.
Okay, we got to figure out who SK is, because one heat sealed bag containing one yellow envelope marked SK, dated 8/27/08, containing multiple smaller envelopes containing of money. $17,115.
What is that? Dollars? United States? Yeah, U.S. currency.
U.S. currency.
Usually I say USD.
Damn.
Damn.
SK again. 2,000. SK containing 40.
Okay, we got to figure out who is SK.
You do that. 2 blue binders of 58 discs. So again, the digital, the Epstein. These are the Epstein tapes. We talk about the Epstein tapes and people who've been, maybe
Kevin Spacey. The only
that's KS, not
I know,
SK.
I know, but maybe because you flip it around.
No,
that's what, if you look it up, the first Google search you get is Spacey. Hold on, maybe here we can figure out SK Sharon Reynolds. No, Sarah Kellen. That would fit.
That would fit.
Kevin Spacey. There, he is on the list.
He's
on the log
again. If it's in code, it's in code, and we can't do anything about it. But anyways, but yeah, it just keeps going and going and going. Red row containing 12 Polaroid folders, one folder labeled Sue containing various photos and CDs. Yeah, this stuff can never be released, but it should be cataloged and should be told to the public what the hell this is. Thank God this never went to trial, because a jury would have to watch all this crap.
It might be an assistant. Sarah Killen, also known as Sarah Vickers, played a significant role in Jeffrey Epstein's criminal enterprise. She worked as Epstein's assistant from 03 to 13.
I would say that's a good bet to say that's SK.
Yeah, it's SK.
Wait.
Criminally described by Judge Allison Nathan as a criminally responsible participant in the operation.
Yeah, but she's got a non-prosecution agreement.
Yeah,
because she's giving evidence.
Exactly. Kellen was involved in the recruitment and scheduling of young girls for Epstein, coordinating their visits, and preparing rooms for sexual activities. Despite her involvement, Kellen has never been charged or arrested, partly due to a non-prosecution agreement that was.
So she got away with murder.
Part of Epstein's 07 plea deal.
Yeah, Epstein had a plea deal. Yeah, because he was caught. He was caught once.
I know he was caught once,
but they kind of swept it under the rug.
I didn't realize how bad they slept at. Okay.
Yeah. Page 3, it gets down. I just stopped it there because I don't want to go any further than that because of some of the nature of the evidence. Which again, you can read this on your own. Maybe I'm being overly cautious, but I just don't want to put things out there that. I don't want to put those things out there because I just don't know who's watching, who's listening. So
we'll just say photos.
No, these aren't photos. These are the items.
I'm talking about the other stuff on there too.
Oh yeah, there's lots of photos.
There's lots of photos.
I mean, it continues to go, but there's other stuff.
Papers.
Yeah, photos depicting 2 girls. Photos
of a lot of things.
I hope I went past it.
You did go past it. But you got to be careful. But what's a little bit higher than there? Yeah. Blueprints of. Oh wait, hold on. Here's something interesting.
1 set of copper handcuffs and whip. That's not what I wanted to have on there. Okay. Handwritten note, Epstein. More photographs. More
blueprints of the New York residence.
Yep. His blueprints of his residence in New York. A Blu-ray containing FLIR aerial surveillance footage of Bradford, New Hampshire, on the aforementioned date. What was he surveilling in Bradford, New Hampshire?
Maybe it was he had a little property there.
July 2nd.
Because maybe it was one of those properties that he couldn't as well kind of keep eye on in terms of camera wise. So he got a drone flying around.
That's weird. Maybe
that one's weird. Red notebook. Hold on. 1 red notebook. You cannot give me more information than 1 red notebook. What's in there?
1 premier day planner. 10 photo again. All right. So now there's a lot of information missing. There's a lot of files that weren't giving. And here we go. Today, I'm going to read this. This is, it looks like the FBI is still, like Kash Patel just got put in place. They got to give him a little time. It looks like the FBI in New York might be running a little interference or being a little obstructed. And of course, listen, New York is the home of the Clintons. That's all I got to say about that. Today, Attorney General Pamela Bondi, in conjunction with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, declassified and publicly released files related to convicted offender Jeffrey Epstein and his exploitation of over 250 underage girls at his homes in New York and Florida, among other locations. This is the first phase of declassified files. Largely contains documents that have been previously leaked but never released in a formal capacity by the U.S. government. This Department of Justice, and this is Pam Bondi, is following through on President Trump's commitment to transparency and lifting the veil on the disgusting actions of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators. The first phase of files released today sheds light on Epstein's extensive network and begins to provide the public with long overdue accountability. The FBI is entering a new era, one that will be defined by integrity, accountability, and the unwavering pursuit of justice, said FBI Director Kash Patel. There will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, and no stone left unturned. And anyone from the prior or current Bureau who undermines this will be swiftly pursued. If there are gaps, we will find them. If records have been hidden, we will uncover them. And we will bring everything we find to the Department of Justice to be fully assessed and transparently disseminated to the American people as it should be. The oath we take is to the Constitution, and under my leadership, that promise will be upheld without compromise. The reason why Kash Patel came out with this is because Pam Bondi had to send him a letter saying, listen, I've been told there are thousands of documents being held by the New York office of the FBI under the direction of the Southern District of New York, which is hugely anti-Trump. It's where basically all the Tisha James and all that stuff, they basically wanted to try him for everything under the sun and make up laws to say he broke.
And then it had to back off.
And it had to back off it, right? So this is where this is all this. So as of tomorrow at 8 a.m., all the stuff, all the files, every document, Kash Patel has ordered will be at 8 a.m. on Pam Bondi's desk. So we should get phase 2 relatively soon if things keep going. So again, I could have just read that.
For us,
Attorney General Bondi requested a full and complete files related to Epstein. In response, the department received approximately 200 pages of documents. However, the Attorney General was later informed of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein that were not previously disclosed. She's the Attorney General. If she's asking for the documents and someone's not giving them to her, that's a violation of oath of office. That, to me, is obstruction of justice. To me is criminal. They should be criminally prosecuted. All right? No ifs, ands, or buts. If the Attorney General says, I want all the Attorney General, she has the clearance to see all of this, right?
There's nothing not beyond her clearance in this.
Yep. The only person who can say no to her or tell her no is Trump. And Trump's not going to do that.
Because Trump just pretty much said, get the documents.
Get the documents out. The Attorney General has requested the FBI deliver the remaining documents to the department by 8 a.m. on February 28th, which of course is in a few hours, and has tasked FBI Director Kash Patel with investigating why the request for all documents was not followed. And Kash is going to get to the bottom of that because he's like, first of all, Pam Bondi and Kash Patel have a very good working relationship. They're actually very good friends. For Kash Patel to be put in a situation where he looks bad in front of his friend and peer that he respects and who respects him.
At a new job
that
he wants to succeed in.
You
made a mistake.
Yeah, that was not
not how you want to start that relationship off.
Yeah, not the bullseye you were.
Also, not the hill you should be trying to die on. The Epstein list.
Yeah,
that does not make you look like a hero.
So in the end, I mean, it is what it is, right? We didn't get what we were looking for. We got sort of a foundation of everything.
The notes and the evidence list are nice. The notes at the very end of the contact list, the flight logs, I'll appreciate them for what they are until we get more information and try to really figure out who some of these people are.
Yeah. What was Clinton, what was the business Clinton was in with them or anybody, right?
Right.
I think those are really valid questions to ask. Reasonable
Absolutely
questions.
reasonable.
You were flying around with this guy all over the place, all over Asia, all over the, London.
Trump,
what were you doing?
What did Trump say about this? Because he said he said he was going to be on the flight log, right?
Yeah.
He knew he was on the flight log.
He said that. He's addressed this. He said, listen, I knew the guy.
Took
came to a couple parties, a couple flights. That's it.
Yep.
Nothing to do it.
Reasonable. And he's only on there twice. Makes sense.
Yeah.
There's nothing suspicious.
From 92.
Yeah, from 92. When he was the guy. It was Trump.
Yeah, it was Donald Trump. the guy. He was the real estate guy. So
I mean, but Clinton is the one who I think you have to have
you're a former
conversation
president.
with him.
I think the president of Columbia, one of the former presidents of Columbia, is on this list.
Yep.
Not Columbia University, Columbia the country.
That's the one that was like Pinto, I think we saw, right?
Former prime ministers of Israel are on this list that are named. So it is what it is.
No, not Pinto. Sorry, Pinto was another person. Whoever the Colombian president was.
Yeah, whoever.
We're not gonna go back and look.
Don't care.
Okay.
At this point, I think he's dead anyways.
You know, I got a question for you. Evidence is supposed to drop at 8.
Yeah.
When do you think it gets released then? Does it get released at 8?
No. I don't think it gets released today. If she doesn't see it till 8 a.m., she doesn't have a chance to redact it for the victims, for the safety of the victims and for the protection of the victims. And in a case like this, that has to be one of the highest of priorities, is to protect the names of the victims and the people who went through this.
I mean, you saw the masseuse list, 254 redacted. No,
so we don't know, again, we don't know what these lists are going to be, what these evidence lists are going to be, what's going to be in them. And she's going to take it, I think, very respectfully and very responsibly. And I think you see this next week sometime, maybe end of next week. I don't think you see anything over the weekend. That's my personal.
Yeah, that's fair. Unless she gets like a team together and be like, all right, get to work.
Well, they have a team.
But I mean like overtime team. You know what I mean?
But this is heavy duty stuff. And you don't want to put something out there too that puts an innocent person in the crosshairs either.
Right. But I think this next batch of evidence is a little more damning, probably. I would imagine.
Probably will be. So that's the Epstein files. As of today, phase 1. There'll be a phase 2, probably a phase 3. We'll see. And of course, we're still waiting on the MLK files. We're still waiting on the JFK files, the RFK files. And Trump actually said he's going to release the 9/11 files, the classified 9/11 files, and see what's in those and see exactly what's going on. It'll be interesting. And
he is stirring the pot.
He's stirring the pot. He really is. And good for him. So he has a I don't give a damn kind of attitude around this stuff as to who it's going to affect negatively. And he shouldn't have a care in the world who's going to affect negatively. His job is his oath is to the Constitution. So,
and his job is to uphold the law. And if these people broke the law, they should get just because they're elites does not mean they get a pass.
No, absolutely not. And you know what? He campaigned on this. This isn't a surprise, and he wants to have transparency. I saw. And here's the difference between Trump and Biden. All right, Biden is in the first month that Biden was president, he answered 191 questions from reporters.
That was 104.
104, sorry. 104.
I could be wrong.
You're right. It's 104. Biden answered 104 questions from reporters during his first month, January to February, as president when he was first elected. Donald Trump has answered over 1,100.
About 10 to 11 times that.
He wants transparency, and it's good. You might not like everything he has to say,
but at least it's coming straight from him.
At least you know what's going on. At least you kind of have an idea where the world's headed. And it was funny. Today he was in the Oval Office, and they asked him, "Do you still think Zelensky's a dictator?" And he goes, "Why did I call him that?" And he goes, "Yeah, you called him a dictator." He goes, "I don't remember that." Next question. That's just hilarious. I was like, all right. It's just him stirring the pot. But anyways, all right. We're going to close the book on the Epstein files right now. We're going to get to our other, for me.
Sounds like the X-Files, what you said.
Yeah, the Epstein files. Well, the next story is a little sad. One of my favorite actors of all time, Gene Hackman. And there we go. Suspicious death. Gene Hackman, his wife, were found dead today. They had been dead for, looks like, a couple of weeks in their home in Santa Fe. There's a lot of questions at first. They thought this was natural or something like that, but then as more information came out, and I have the search warrant, we're going to read through it. The search warrant affidavit, which it really brings up a lot of questions. Don't know. Was it suspicious? Was there foul play? We just don't know. They're going to perform the autopsies, and we'll go from there. But let's hit before we get to his films and how much I love the guy as an actor. Let's get to the this is the search warrant that was filed, and let's get to it. So things that they can look for. Right? In a search warrant, you have to be specific on kind of what you're looking for. The first thing that kind of caught my eye was the first item that could be looked for or items to be seized and collected. Ignitable, flammable, explosive, or combustible substances, whether solid, liquid, and or gas, and or any container, air, or material that may contain said substances or have said substances on them. All right.
A little odd, but I think it's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's not pretty standard. But
narcotics. Again, everything else is standard. Narcotics.
Right.
Anything that looked out of anything with digital cameras, photographs, any clothing that looked damaged, any latent prints, any footwear impressions herein, any weapons, anything like that, any DNA, blood, or trace evidence, telephones and cellular telephones, any record documented in the media, which appears to be a password, personal ID number, item, or information used to access items. So they're going all in right now. And the affidavit, Detective Roy Art is a full-time certified peace officer in the state. So this is the guy who filled it out. Statements of fact known to the affiant. Okay.
So this is where it gets interesting?
This is where it gets interesting. At approximately 1:43 p.m. on Wednesday, February 26, 2025, Santa Fe Regional Emergency Communications Center received a call for service regarding a reporting party locating 2 deceased individuals inside the residence of blank Santa Fe, New Mexico. All right. So basically 2 people, I believe, were there to do a welfare check on this because Gene Hackman and his wife hadn't been seen or heard from for a couple of weeks at least. So, someone wanted to do a welfare check or they went and checked on him. And I believe that these people were actually gardeners, so they actually opened, saw that the door was open. So we're going to get to that in a second. When Deputy Thomas and Barron arrived, Deputy Thomas indicated he spoke to 2 individuals who found and located the front door of the residence to be opened and ajar. So their front door was open. So they're dead. Their front door is open and ajar. What that means? Don't know.
Ajar could mean it's cracked open, but maybe it's not like, you look from the front of the yard, you wouldn't maybe notice unless you were right there.
But it's open.
But it's open. And nonetheless, it's open, which is kind of...
Yeah. I never leave my front door open. Mm-mm. Doesn't happen. Deputy Thomas identified the reporting party to be a male named Roland. This is basically the people who reported. They're other maintenance. They're maintenance workers. All right. He advised. So after speaking to these 2 males, he went to the residence. He found the front door ajar. He advised he did not observe any signs of forced entry into the home. Okay. Starting to paint a picture. Deputy Thomas entered the residence. He immediately observed a bathroom to the left of the front door. The door to the bathroom was open. Deputy Thomas advised he observed a deceased female laying on the ground near the countertop inside the bathroom. The female was observed lying on her right side. He advised she was found wearing dark gray sweatpants and a light color sweatshirt. The female was this is basically his wife, Gene Hackman's wife, Arquana is her last name. There was a black in color space heater near the female's head. He advised he suspected the heater could have fallen in the event the female abruptly fell to the ground. He advised he also observed an orange prescription bottle on the countertop near the deceased female. The prescription bottle appeared open with pills scattered on the countertop. Kind of seems like she just fell, collapsed for no reason, right? So far. Advised the female decedent showed obvious signs of death, body decomposition, bloating in her face, and mummification in both hands and feet. They were there for so long, no one found them. They were there for a week or 2, maybe 3 weeks. Their bodies had started to mummify naturally. They continued to search the residence where they found and observed a deceased brown in colored German Shepherd canine. The deceased canine was located approximately 10 to 15 feet from the deceased female in a closet of the bathroom. So we got a dead woman in the bathroom. We've got a dead canine, a German Shepherd canine, in the closet of the bathroom. And then they proceeded to clear the other portions of the residence. In doing so, they observed a pair of feet and legs on the ground near the kitchen area. Deputy Thomas identified a male to be deceased in an area of the home he believed to be a mudroom. You asked me what a mudroom is. Basically, it's a place where if you walk inside, you can just leave your muddy shoes there.
Right.
The deceased male, who was found wearing gray sweatpants, a blue in color long sleeve t-shirt, brown slippers, and a walking cane. Now they observed a pair of sunglasses located near the decedent's left of his body. Based on Deputy Thomas's training and experience, he suspected the male individual had suddenly fallen. They did, no obvious signs of death similar to the consistent with the female. There were 2 other, and again, he was mummified and things like that. Advised that there were 2 other dogs located in the property. Those were alive. One inside, one outside. Okay. All other buildings on the property, the garage should be locked and secured. Nothing was really missing, which is no forced entry into the residence anywhere. The knobs are an indication the residence had been rummaged through or items were taken from the inside. He advised, based on training experience, nothing appears to be, quote, out of place while clearing the residence.
You know what's out of place?
Yeah, the dead bodies. Basically, these are two maintenance workers. They were able to identify the deceased female as Betsy Araquana, and that's who they primarily. They only these maintenance workers we never go in the house. We never see these people. They call us or text us. That's how. Hey, the 2 males identified Betsy's husband as Gene Hackman or Eugene Allen Hackman, the famed Oscar-winning actor who was 95 years old. I think she was 61, 62.
I thought it was 64. It says
Could it be
61. It says 61, I think there.
That could be something different.
Oh.
However, they couldn't positively identify him as the deceased male. At this time, the male's true identity is unknown until further investigation or research can be made.
Well, that's now been confirmed.
Yeah. So a lot of the next part of it, a lot of people came out and said, well, it could have been carbon monoxide poison, because with carbon monoxide poisoning or gas leak poisoning, natural gas poisoning, you can't smell that stuff, and it just turns you off like a light switch. Right. I mean, it just does.
It's just, yeah.
So they brought in the fire department. So to determine if there were signs of possible carbon monoxide leaks or poisoning, he advised the fire department did not locate signs of carbon monoxide leaks or poisoning. Those firefighters were identified as Captain Daniel, blah, blah, blah. So, okay. The New Mexico Gas Company responded. The residence was conducting active testing on the gas line in and around the residence. Those individuals were identified as such and such. As of now, there are no signs of evidence indicating there were any problems associated to the pipes in and around the residence. So it's kind of hard at this point with this affidavit to say it was carbon monoxide poisoning or natural gas poisoning. Again, that's all speculation. I ain't a cop. I ain't there.
I will say this: they found him in the mudroom collapsed or
collapsed, like he had just suddenly fallen over. Same thing with her. Like she was in the bathroom taking a couple pills. She was opening her butt and it kind of fell over, and that's why.
But that would have happened simultaneously, essentially.
Yeah,
which is extremely suspicious.
Because
one is 95, the other one's 61. They're relatively healthy, right?
Yeah. Well, 95. As healthy as a 95-year-old can be.
95, sure. Again, maybe his death doesn't make me question as much. It's more her death. 61.
Well, the dogs too. So you have 3 deaths. The probability of 3 deaths. Never mind just 3 deaths. So you got a dog, but two people dying in the exact same moment. Again, I know where you're going too. But. It's not probable.
No, it's not. It really isn't.
They don't say what the pills were, but that's the affidavit, and it sucks because
you like them.
I love Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman's one of my favorites.
He's a good actor
of all time.
Was a good actor.
He's one of my favorites of all time. He wrote books. He's just one of those actors that has played some roles that'll live forever. We're going to get into him in a second here. But rest in peace. We're going to wait on the autopsy. Hollywood's in mourning. He's one of the greatest. He really was. But again, we have to wait for the autopsy to see what happens and go from there. But let's get into his filmography. So
yeah, because you talk about him. I think I remember him maybe from a couple movies.
Yeah,
mainly being Superman.
Most people are going to know him. He's Lex Luthor,
right?
Lex Luthor from the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, and still probably the best Lex Luthor ever to be on film. Now, I've known him from way back in the day. I think the first thing I saw him in was with Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh yeah,
he played Clyde Barrow's brother,
right?
in it, and it was a smaller part, but it was memorable. It got him started, right?
He was also in a Western movie, I remember.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. Yeah,
that's a very good one.
Yeah. So I mean, he worked a lot. I mean, he's been working since I think his first movie was 1961, Mad Dog Call, Terrorize the City. So Bonnie and Clyde, right? Great movie. Warren Beatty, Faye Dunaway. And then the movie that really made him and gave him his Oscar, deservedly so. I did a retro movie review on this. It's on the channel if you want to check it out. The French Connection. It's, for me, one of the top 10 greatest films ever made. It's the greatest car chase scene ever filmed. And it's based off of the true story of Popeye Doyle. He plays Popeye Doyle, a New York detective who, one of the biggest drug busts in history, French heroin. And it was the biggest drug bust in the history of New York at the time. I think it still may remain one of the top 5, if not the top. Popeye Doyle, real guy. He was not a nice guy. He was a rough cop.
It's New York.
New York. It was
gotta be rough.
Yeah, New York in the late 60s, early 70s. And the kind of guy Gene Hackman was. He wanted to do the role. First, he didn't want to do the role because he didn't think he could. Because Popeye Doyle had to say some pretty racist things to some of the people he was arresting, some of the people he was abusing, some of the people he was beating up for information. I mean, it's one of the it's gritty. I mean, if the word gritty is used a lot with films, this film is gritty. It's the definition of gritty, and it's real life, true to life. But he said, I don't think I can say these words. I don't. It doesn't. It made him feel sick to have to say these words to these other actors that, they're actors just like him. So he had a lot of respect for those people, and he just wasn't. He's just not that type of guy. He never was, and he was never comfortable with it, right? But they, with William Friedkin, who also did The Exorcist, who directed this, convinced him, yeah, you could do this. You could find this place. Roy Scheider plays his partner. Of course, we all know him as Chief Brody from Jaws. A great performance in that as well. And so they go about the scenes, and they were doing it in the middle of frigid. I mean, they were freezing in New York, doing all these outside scenes. I mean, freezing. Queens, Bronx, Brooklyn, everywhere. They were all over the place. Harlem.
They went to Harlem with that harsh language?
Oh, yeah. They went there.
Oh, all right. Ballsy. I can see why he won.
Yeah, and so the car chase scene, if you watch it, now by today's standards, they're like, oh, we got Fast and Furious. Like, okay, there's no CGI in this crap.
This is all
a stunt driver or Gene Hackman himself driving this car underneath an elevated train because the guy he's chasing is on the elevated train and he's going through regular traffic. Now, here's the thing. They didn't have permits to do this. They didn't have all the permits to do this. So, okay.
What do you do?
Well, it's a cop movie. It's trying to make the cops look good. So all the off-duty cops that they hired, they would go and they would shut down all the side streets to this main road that they're doing 80, 90 miles an hour down. All right? However, they didn't quite get there in time to shut down all the roads and some, so the traffic you see that they're dodging is actual people just on their way to work.
Or living life. Just maybe want to go grab a pizza down in the corner.
And one of the car crashes is a real car crash with a real person that didn't know they were filming a movie. Now, the elevated train only went from one point to another so they could do the chase one way, right? And then they'd turn the car around and they'd have the L driver go backwards. Now, they didn't have permission to do this. The L driver had zero permission to do this.
That man was paid handsomely. So
they said, what do you need for this? How can we make this happen? The L driver said, give me a one-way first-class ticket to Jamaica and give me $50,000 cash. Deal. And so that's when you see the L train, that's how they got that filming. That's how they got this done. And half the time it's Hackman driving like a maniac. Half the time it's the stunt driver, and even the director, he was in the back seat with the camera because none of the cameramen were brave. They said, we are not getting in that back seat to hold that camera for that point of view. So the director's like, okay, I'll go in it. And he's like, I thought I was going to die. It's just amazing, practical, we're going to go and renegade guerrilla filmmaking.
You wish you had that today. Because, there are some good car chases today.
Yep.
Nothing like that. I don't think I've seen
everything's so choreographed.
I've seen many clips.
Disney Plus.
I think I've seen this movie maybe once.
Yeah.
Maybe once. I don't very much remember if I did. But I definitely have seen that car chase scene. It is, if you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Yep.
It's great.
And this film is on Disney Plus if you have Disney Plus, because they bought the rights to the studio that originally owned this film. And it's one of the greatest. Again, for me, it's one of my top 10 favorite films of all time. I would say, not just even me saying this, it's one of the top 10 performances by any actor of all time. I mean, it's up there with Pacino in The Godfather. It's up there with Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now. It's that type of performance that will stay with you. And there's a line in there that confused me. When I was younger and I first saw this movie, Popeye Doyle would grab the witness, grab whoever thug he was trying to grab and get information of, throw him up against the wall. And his partner would be like, hey, buddy, be the nice cop. Popeye Doyle would always play bad cop. And he'd say, hey, you pick your feet in Poughkeepsie? You've been picking your feet in Poughkeepsie, haven't you? And they're like, the criminal would be like, Poughkeepsie's a place in upstate New York, right? About an hour north of New York City. And they would say, well, why did you say that? Because the idiot criminal, drug dealer or drug addict
doesn't know Poughkeepsie.
Well, he'd be like, why are you asking me this? So he'd think, this cop is crazy. This cop is out of his mind. He's like, why? And he'd be so scared and thrown off. This is actual New York City techniques. He'd be so scared and thrown off. He would answer whatever good guy question the good guy cop was asking him.
Because he'd be like, man.
This freaking nut job asked me if I picked my feet in Poughkeepsie, right? And then there's a scene in there in the beginning where Popeye Doyle is dressed as Santa Claus, and they're doing surveillance on this bar looking for this drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And all these kids are coming up to him. He's like, yeah, Santa was singing Jingle Bells, and he's on the street, Jingle Bells, right? That's real. That's actually from the real files. A lot of this was taken from the real. What you see is actually taken from the real files. So the French Connection, it's just such an amazing movie. And
they do the actual person justice.
Yeah, Popeye Doyle's actually in it. There's a scene where Hackman's character is like getting berated by his senior officer. That senior officer happens to be the real Popeye Doyle, the real detective that And when you see Popeye Doyle in a picture of Popeye Doyle in real life, you're like, okay, that fits. Yeah.
Is this the real picture?
No, that's Gene Hackman.
No, this is Wikipedia. Jimmy Popeye Doyle.
Yeah, that's Gene Hackman. That's him waving hello to the.
Right. Well, that's what I thought, but I thought maybe for some reason French Connection here.
Yeah, you gotta just say real life pic. That's all Gene Hackman. Yeah, real life Popeye Doyle. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah, good job.
So, but anyways. If you haven't seen it and you got Disney Plus and you want to see it, or if you want to rent it, fabulous movie. There's a French Connection too, not as good. They convinced Hackman to do it, threw him a little money. Hey, any actor wants a little money. Excuse me. But as a kid, the next movie really made an impression on me and really introduced me. I think this is actually before I saw the French Connection, the Poseidon Adventure. Now, they remade the Poseidon Adventure about 10 years back, and it sucked. The real Poseidon Adventure, the original, not the real, which was with Gene Hackman, where the ship gets hit by a tsunami and capsizes, and the survivors, what's left of them, have to make their way. They're underwater, but they have to make their way up through the ship to the keel to hopefully get rescued. And it's amazing. Well done, practical effects. There's one girl in it who just screams all the time, but that was kind of the thing of the day. And she kind of gets a little annoying, and but it's got this kid in it who reminds me of the kid from Airplane, where they bring him in to the cockpit.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like gladiator movies, right? But it's got that kind of kid in it, so you kind of let them go. But it's Gene Hackman. It's a great performance, a great action, kind of that whole era, the early '70s. You had all the disaster movies, Towering Inferno and stuff like that, But definitely Poseidon Adventure, the original, worth though, and even the second one, the Poseidon Adventure 2 or Return to Poseidon or whatever they call it with Michael Caine, where they go back into it, they find it floating there, and like it's an ocean liner floating in. They're like, yeah, let's go in and see if we can rob anything. That was a good movie too.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman.
I like that one. That one's good.
Young Frankenstein. You know what? What I know of Young Frankenstein is it's my favorite Mel Brooks film. It's one of my favorite comedies of all time. Mm-hmm. Now, Gene Hackman plays the blind monk who runs into Frankenstein. Frankenstein runs into him. Listen, they wanted Gene Hackman they wanted Gene Hackman to play a role in this, and he wanted to play a role in this. They didn't think they could get him. They didn't think they could, convince him. There was a lot of miscommunication. Finally, Gene Wilder's like made it happen, and it's because Gene Hackman says, I want to be funny. I'll play the blind monk. I'll do that role, and I'll do it hilariously. And it is hilarious what he does to Frankenstein and how he acts and just how he is. It's just a memorable piece of that film. So if you've seen Young Frankenstein, you know Gene Hackman. There you see, of course, the French Connection 2. A Bridge Too Far, again, a great war movie.
Right.
Ensemble. Then you get to Superman 1, Superman 2. What can you say? He's still one of the greatest villains on screen.
If you think Lex Luthor, you think him.
Yeah.
I mean, who else do you think of?
I mean, that scene when he's being put in jail, when he's being returned to jail, he rips off his wig, he's bald. I'm Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mind in history, the history of the world. I mean, it's just awesome. He just had the ego there. He was great. We'll go over a couple more of his hits. Red's another good movie. Target.
He lived a long and good life.
All right, here's one.
At least,
He was a Marine. He did radio communications in China for the Marines. He was a DJ for the Marines. That's where he learned. That's where he fell in love with entertainment. Here's a movie which can be polarizing. To me, it's one of the greatest movies of my childhood.
Which one?
Hoosiers. He played the coach,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the score says at the end of the day.
I like that movie.
We're going to be winners.
Right?
Yeah, it's just it captures Indiana basketball. It captures a time. If you don't, if you watch
Midwest.
that, it just gets you in the feels. It really does, and it's just one of those great performances that will be remembered. And that movie will be watched over and over and over again, year after year after year.
It really captures the Midwest, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When you watch it, it gives you that welcome to the Midwest in, what was it, the 30s, 20s?
I want to say it's the 30s.
30s.
I would say it's the 30s.
30s? I could be really wrong about that, but still.
50s. I think 50s.
50s. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was like, 30 seems wrong.
So then he went back to Superman for Quest for Peace. Why? Because they talked him into it. No Way Out with Kevin Costner. He plays the bad guy. Great film. If you haven't seen No Way Out, Kevin Costner sings his. This is the movie that when he worked with Kevin Costner famously says on the Rich Eisen show, who's the greatest actor you ever worked with? Kevin Costner says Gene Hackman. And Kevin Costner's worked with them all. So it's a pretty good opinion right there. Mississippi Burning. We talk about it's one more day in Black History Month. If you want a film that really addresses a piece of American history without the preachiness, but really just tells you the grittiness of history, really tells you right from wrong, good from evil, Mississippi Burning. And amazing. Then there's The Package. Oh, another movie he played with was called a while ago was called The Conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one where he's always spying on people. That was an interesting one. You get The Package. Loose Cannons with Dan Aykroyd. It's a comedy from 1990. I remember seeing it a couple times. It was okay. It was not something I'd say, hey, if you want to laugh out loud, this is it. It was okay. He was a straight man. Dan Aykroyd's a lunatic. Class Action, good movie. Then you get to Clint Eastwood and Unforgiven. Unforgiven might be the greatest Western ever. And Gene Hackman's a big part of that. So take that for what it's worth. I think we've all know Unforgiven. The Oscars have been won for that.
Right. And then also there's The Quick and the Dead.
We'll get into that because we still have The Firm with Tom Cruise. Great Tom Cruise movie.
I forget how the movie.
Wyatt Earp's dad in Wyatt Earp with Kevin Costner.
I completely forgot he's the dad in Wyatt Earp.
Yep. You got The Quick and the Dead with Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, here he is with a pre-Titanic Leonardo DiCaprio, pre-Gladiator Russell Crowe, a post Basic Instinct Sharon Stone in a Western that was supposed to be kind of a popcorn Western, and it really was. It was fun. It was a fun movie. He played a real dirtbag. I mean, just you just wanted him. I mean, talk about a king.
Part of you did want to see him win at the same time. You're like, I want you to lose, but damn, you're cool.
Yeah, what a great performance. Up next after that, in 1995, he released two movies in 95, Quick and the Dead, and then The Crimson Tide, one of my favorites by him as well. With Denzel Washington, it's a submarine movie. It's got a little bit of that underlying, racial tension, but the story overall, about what can happen when a nuclear submarine is giving conflicting orders or whether to launch or not. Yeah, it's good. I mean, and he plays. I mean, he brings the power. There's few people that can make Denzel look small on screen because Denzel is one of the greatest actors alive. You know, one of the greatest actors alive, if not one of the greatest actors that ever lived, and he can put in a powerful performance. But when you put him up against Gene Hackman, and Gene Hackman makes him look like the rookie that he is, tells you everything you need to know about Gene Hackman.
I mean, if you haven't realized the list and the range he's got, just from these movies.
Yeah. Well, then he plays a comedic role in Get Shorty, which is sort of like a parody. That was like after Pulp Fiction came out. Everybody's kind of trying to get that Pulp Fiction vibe. Of course, John Travolta's in it, Danny DeVito, Rene Russo. It's a fun movie. Get Shorty's a fun movie. And Hackman plays the total opposite of what you could be a sub-commander. He plays a total loser who just can't get anything right. Extreme Measures, great movie. Birdcage, people remember from the Birdcage, he was the straight dad, the politician who had to come to terms that, he had to come to terms with homosexuality in his family or marrying into his family. It is what it is. It's Robin Williams is in it. Nathan Lane did really well at the box office. So he was really hitting his stride. I mean, you look at all the movies in between 92. Let's go back to 9. Let's go to 9. Let's see. 92. So we got Unforgiven. 93. We got The Firm, Geronimo. 94. Wyatt Earp. 95. Quick and the Dead. Crimson Tide. Get Shorty. 96. Birdcage. 96. Extreme Measures. 96. The Chamber. So he's done 10 movies in friggin' 3 or 4 years. So he was working his ass off. He rejoined Absolute Power with Clint Eastwood, played the president, played a real dickhead. Enemy of the State, didn't really care for that one. You got Under Suspicion, good movie. The Replacements with Keanu Reeves, kind of a quirky little football comedy. He plays the coach of the football team. Wasn't his greatest, wasn't his worst. You got The Heist with Danny DeVito, it was okay. Mm-hmm. Heartbreakers with that was more of a Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sigourney Weaver kind of thing, where they kind of gold diggers, kind of like that thing. The Royal Tenenbaums, he was in that. People liked him in that. I wasn't a big fan of the Royal Tenenbaums. Behind Enemy Lines, great film. Runaway Jury, great film. Welcome to Mooseport, comedy. It just kind of didn't land anywhere, and that was really the end of it.
And
he really
Superman
called it
again.
Yeah,
or those remasters.
Those remasters. Then he called it quits. He retired. He went to go become a writer. He wrote 3 books and just wanted to retire and just live life.
I think he got that opportunity.
Yeah, and
95
years old.
Blessed life.
Found dead from we don't know what yet. And 3 days before the Oscars, right? And who knows if they're going to have the time to get him into the in memoriam.
Oh, they better.
I mean, that stuff's already usually locked in by now. They're scrambling right now. The people at the Academy Awards are scrambling
Dude,
right
it's
now.
Gene Okerman. He just died 3 days ago.
Gene Hackman, not Gene
Okerman. Sorry, Okerman. Hackman. I don't know why I said Okerman.
Because we were talking wrestling the other day.
Oh, that's right.
But he's the type of actor where he doesn't get the in memoriam. He gets a separate, after the in memoriam, someone walks out, someone like a Danny DeVito, someone like a Dustin Hoffman, someone like a Kevin Costner will walk out and do something specific just for him. He's that, he's earned that status as
2 Academy Awards, 2 British Academy Film Awards, and 4 Golden Globes.
Yeah.
That tells you enough.
Yeah, not many people win 1. He's won 2.
Yep.
Not many. So rest in peace, Gene Hackman. Again, we just ran down his film credentials and what I loved and how he influenced my love for film. I mean, as a kid, I must have watched The Poseidon Adventure over and over and over again on HBO when HBO first became cable. Same thing with Young Frankenstein over and over and over again. Same thing with Superman the movie and Superman 2 over and over and over again. And Delma Hoosiers over and over. I mean, I can't.
I mean, he's immortalized. In terms of film, he's immortalized. I mean, there's few and far in between when it comes to that category, at least in film industry.
Yeah,
and he's definitely in it. And he's not one of those names on the hedges. He's right there at the barbecue party, at the grill.
Yep. So I'll probably get some time this weekend, maybe some free time. There's a movie to watch. It'll be a Gene Hackman film, and maybe it'll be Poseidon Adventure. Maybe it'll be The Conversation. I don't know. Maybe maybe the French Connection. I just watched it 3 months ago. 3 months ago, I watched it to do the review. So check out the review if you want on the channel. Retro Movie Review Theater. It's on the playlist for the French Connection. And that's all I get to say about that.
sorry. No, good. Go.
Yeah.
You go.
No, that's it. I just rest in peace, Gene Hackman.
Right.
And thank you for everything you did for movies. And I love movies as much as I do partly because of what he did, and partly how I became one of my favorites. So
Rest in peace.
rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
What just popped up on your news?
So this is something that popped up while you were talking. This was, I think 10, 15 minutes ago. It said 20 minutes ago. Today, under pressure from Trump, Mexico extradites cartel kingpins.
So they're sending the cartel kingpins to the United States
to get prosecuted. DEA special agent Enrique Kike. Yeah, there's a whole article about this.
So who are they sending us?
I haven't been able to take a look yet because we were talking about Hackman for a while. But former leader of Ultraviolent Zetas cartel was also extradited to the United States. Veteran drug trafficker Rafael Caro Quintero was among the 29 suspects extradited to the United States. So 29 people were extradited.
Well, time to wipe those people out. Anyways, that's what I got. I'm a little, it's been a long day. It's about midnight here. What do you got? Anything new? Anything else?
No, it's just extradition. We'll have to read more into it. Maybe if we stream tomorrow. I don't think we will.
Maybe.
We might stream tomorrow.
Usually we don't on Fridays. We'll see what happens in the news. But with that, everybody, thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming in and comment, share, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It's a pleasure talking to you about this stuff. And from south of the border, I will see you, and you will see you. South of the border, I'm still your reluctant gringo. Salud. A huevo, everybody.
Adios.
Adios.